Hi, and welcome along to a game of two halves with Mark Goldbridge in the building as well. The show where we take a look back at all of the weekend's game, and it's been a busy weekend of Premier League games. Of course, Champions League football coming up this week, so lots of games played early. One to go tonight, but let's focus on the games that have gone on over the weekend. And it's been an interesting weekend because. I'm going to start with the two teams that were really under pressure this week to get a result. And that was Manchester City and Liverpool. Going to start with Liverpool. Under extreme pressure, Arne Slot. People even been calling for his head, which we've both been saying, Mark, is unbelievable. But he did get a massive win in that 8 o'clock game on Saturday night against Aston Villa.
Yeah, and I think, we've been in this game for a long time now, and it's not a criticism of people who are slot out. It's more of a warning. And we were saying this last week. You get angry, your team loses. God knows we've had it with United and Robbie's had it with Arsenal over the years. But one win and you're third in the league and you've already said slot out. I just think sometimes patience in your opinion is important because once you've said it, we've got people in the United fan base who went hammering out after Grimsby and you sort of like go, it's too soon. I thought Liverpool played well, Robbie. I think it's the best I've seen them play this season. I don't think they were brilliant, but I think it's the best they've played this season. And Villa was, I think this is the weekend of naivety. We saw it with Bournemouth against City and we saw it with Villa against Liverpool. Why? I don't know what it is, but as an Arsenal fan, you might look at it a bit frustrated because you don't want those two teams. But I'm like, I know Bournemouth have had a good season, but why go to Man City and play a high line? And I know Villa have had a good season, but why go to Anfield and play out from the back when literally 4 teams have beaten Liverpool by playing past their press? So it was just naive. And Man City and Liverpool may have won the games anyway. Let's be fair, they both played well, but they look good. And I think across a 38-game season, they will be second and third.
Yeah, in the Liverpool game, Aston Villa, who started the game well. Remember, they hit the post. Yeah. I think it was Morgan Rogers. They're on the front foot. I was thinking, you know what? This is going to be a tough game for Liverpool. But when you give gifts like the one which Emi Martinez gave to Mo Salah, listen, you're not going to have any chance of winning a game. And once Liverpool got that goal, that relieved the pressure. And, it was a good performance by Liverpool. Like you said, under pressure, let's not forget, they're under serious pressure. Arsenal already played earlier on in the day, won their game. They knew if they lost the game, they'd go 10 points behind Arsenal. And even at this early stage, that's very significant. But that was a big win against Villa. A Villa team that's been on form.
Yeah, and I think looking at Liverpool, look, that there are players that are missing that they can't really replace. And I think it's good that Slot's acknowledged that maybe Kirkes is the future left back, but for now, you drop Andy Robertson in, who's not the player he was, but you can trust him, he gets it, and he'll put in a 7 or 8 out of 10. That was a big, big change. I think Gravenberch being back, he's such an important player. Szoboszlai's been really good for them this season. And obviously that was, I don't think Salah was anywhere near his best, but he was slightly better than he has been. And it was mechanical from Liverpool, but they deserved to win it. But of course, because of the bad results they've had, they're not back because they've got to play Real Madrid on Tuesday and then they've got to play Man City on Sunday. So it's a good platform for them, but they're going to have to go up levels again for the next 2 games. So I'm watching them with great interest now.
Yeah, and talking to Man City, I thought that was a very good performance by them up against Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been very good this season. But like you said, suicidal football by Bournemouth. Why would you play such a high line when you know the biggest threat for any team in this league is when you come up against Haaland? He's the best striker in the league. Arguably, you can say in world football, it's either him or Harry Kane. They played this ridiculous high line, which just let him in time after time, and he was absolutely clinical. A brilliant performance by Haaland.
Yeah, look, take nothing away from Man City. I think they're the best team United have played this season. Obviously, we played you on the opening day, and there's reasons why Arsenal may not have been at the races, but Man City were very good against us. And I thought we were the worst team in the league when we brought Harry Maguire on and stuck him next to Haaland on the halfway line, and then That's Senesi just twice. He just left him, just walked away from him. And you're like, you can't let Haaland go one-on-one. It's ridiculous. It's like leaving your cow with Ronald McDonald. It's going to be turn into a burger, isn't it? It was crazy. And it's not like Bournemouth created loads of chances either. It was like, if you go high and you created chances, you score 3, we'll score 3. But yeah, I don't agree with, I don't know what you think, Robbie, but I don't agree with the managers who like Emery, like Amorim, I suppose, like the Bournemouth coach. I play this way every week. It's my biggest problem with Brighton. You have to go, you're second in the league, you go into the Etihad, you're above Man City. Go and protect what you've earned over the last few weeks. Go and sit deep and counter. And he goes and plays we're going to play our way. And I think Pep must have been rubbing his hands and going, this is a nice, easy 3 points.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed in Bournemouth. Like, their defending was atrocious. I mean, take nothing away from Haaland. He's such a clinical player. Well, I mean, when he's through for the first goal, I'm just like, goal. When he's running in, I'm not even contemplating anything apart from a goal. And he was clinical. And again, another big win for Man City. He takes them up to second place. And I think a reminder to Arsenal by both Liverpool and Manchester City that, listen, we're still here. We're still in this title race. Arsenal did have a very good win against Burnley. I was at the game. Arsenal clinical. Very, very good in that first half. I thought Victor Gyökeres probably his best performance.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? I only saw the highlights, but 45 minutes he only played. Touch, link-up play, passing, really
everything.
Good.
So good in that first half. I think Burnley were a bit fortunate that he went off at halftime. They said that he felt something, so they didn't want to risk him. But he was brilliant. And then after that, in the second half, Arsenal did what they've been doing all season, just total control, and yet another clean sheet. No shot on target in the whole game for Burnley. Remember, they're playing at home. They did hit the post right at the end.
About 3 in a row now you've had that.
Sorry?
I'm sure you've done that recently against teams who've not had a shot. I think Fulham didn't either, did they?
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable, the defending. And you can see with these Arsenal defenders right now that they're taking this with a lot of pride. Like, Declan Rice said after the game that the centre-backs in particular, this is like them scoring a goal when they keep a clean sheet. That's how much pride they're placing upon it. And on Declan Rice, by the way, he was absolutely brilliant in the game. For me, we've been having this argument this weekend because there are some very good central midfielders in this league, but I just think he's the most complete central midfielder in this league. He does everything. He's everywhere on the pitch. He can score goals like what he did on Saturday. He's got the best delivery on corners that I've seen in the league. He can take free kicks. As I've said, the only thing I ain't seen him do yet is playing goal. He can do everything. This guy is an unbelievable player.
I said yesterday on That's Football. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on it. Actually, somebody was saying, "Who do you think? If you had to hand out Player of the Year now for the 10 games in, who would you give it to?" And I said Gabriel, because they've conceded 3 goals. I watched the highlights against Burnley. He's winning everything. And also at the other end, he's a big reason they're scoring from set pieces. I think, Declan Rice is up there with Caicedo, but I think Gabriel, I'd give him player of the, and Haaland scoring goals for Man City. So there's good competition. Yeah. I just think 3 goals conceded in 10 games. And I watched him against Burnley and they're chucking throws in and he's just like jumping higher than everyone else. As I say, from set pieces, he's spot on. But yeah, I don't disagree. I think Declan Rice and Caicedo are having great seasons as well. So yeah. No, them two have been... And you know what? In fairness to Arsenal, I saw in the first few minutes, Burnley played with a back 6. They had a line of 6. And I'm like, you got Jeff Stelling saying, Arsenal need to be more expansive. How are you supposed to be expansive against the back 6 and then 4 in front of it? It was good that Arsenal scored quite early, actually, because it just killed that obvious plan that they were going to do like they did against Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I heard what Jeff Stelling said, and I don't agree with him. And Arsenal are a very, very good side. They're a very attacking side. They had most of the ball in the game. They were the team on the front foot. Remember, they're away from home, right? But, when teams, like you said, when teams have got everybody behind the ball, you got to find other ways sometimes of getting that breakthrough. And they've got this set piece that every time they deploy it, they're very, very good at it. Teams are very fearful of it, and it's working. Why would you do anything else? Like you just said about Bournemouth, and why are you playing into the hands of You know, it'd be
Yeah.
crazy for Arsenal to be taking short corners, although they did take one and that nearly went in as well, right? But it'd be crazy for them to do it when they've got such a weapon. And you can see, I looked over at the Burnley fans when we were getting corners, and you could see some of them were like, oh no, not another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, one goal from a set piece, one goal from open play. It was a brilliant one by Declan Rice, and a really good win for Arsenal, 2-0, which took them to the top. The big game of the weekend was Spurs versus Chelsea. Now, Chelsea seem to have the sign over Spurs every time they play them at home. There's a lot of Chelsea fans who call it 3-point lane. That's what they call it, right? But 1-0
game, mate.
1-0 flattered Spurs. I was watching this game on my way back from Burnley. I was watching it on my phone. Chelsea should have scored more. I mean, they were really, really disappointing, Tottenham. I don't know what it is about them at home, but they've been really bad at home. They got booed off by their fans, and two of their players, Van der Ven and Jed Spence, even blanked the manager when they walked off. Looks like there's a few little problems when it comes to their home form.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't get it with Spurs because like they've always been light switch FC. You know, one day they're good, one game they're bad, and they turned the switch off big time. And Chelsea should have won, like you said, by more. And Spurs were terrible. And I haven't watched a lot of Spurs this season, but I've looked at where they are in the league and gone, they must be really happy at Spurs. Last year they were bloody awful. They lost over 20 games. I know they won the Europa League. All right, they're not in the top 5 at the moment, but they've been in, sorry, not in the top 4 now, but they have been. And you look at them at home and they're like 4th from bottom with their home record, but then they're top for their away record. It's weird how they're just so well set up for away from home, but at home they've got big problems. United are playing them next week, so I'm hoping that form will continue. But they were absolutely, I mean, that game was crap. I really was looking forward to it, and it was dreadful. I mean, Liverpool Villa was actually quite a good game, but Chelsea Spurs was terrible. One side blame Chelsea for that. Chelsea went there and did a job on them, and they I mean, Pedro should have had a bloody hat trick.
Yeah, one-sided game, and you know, you're thinking Tottenham, you're at home, and I heard the manager saying afterwards they were lackluster. How can you be lackluster in a game like that? That's a derby. And I can tell you that apart from the North London derby, Arsenal Spurs, that is the next big game for them. They don't. Chelsea and Tottenham fans don't like each other at all. Those, remember the Battle of Bridge a few years ago? They don't like each other. You'd have thought Tottenham would have been up for this game, but they just they were so flat. It was unreal.
Yeah, and I think that, Chelsea had played midweek. Spurs hadn't. Why they haven't got any energy, I don't know. But I do think it's bang out of order from Spence and Van der Ven. Like, you shouldn't be doing that to your manager. Yeah. And Van der Ven cost them a bloody goal. So what's he moaning about? He had a bad game. So I mean, look, Thomas Frank's only just gone in there. Players behaving like that. I mean, I don't think Spurs fans would be happy with the players for that, to be fair.
No. The person I felt sorry for this weekend, Mark, was that Man United fan who said 5 games in a row and he'll cut his ear. Right now, he was looking good. He was on a roll. Now it's all back to square one again. This guy's going to have what I suggest he does is like dreadlocks.
Yeah.
He look like a Bob Marley or something, because otherwise he's going to look like the Hair Bear Bunch. I don't know if you remember that from back in the day, but United 1-0 up. Very controversial goal, by the way. I mean, that looked like that gone out. That hadn't gone out for a corner to me.
Got to play to the whistle, mate. Got to play to the whistle.
You do have to play to the whistle. Listen, you do. It's not United's fault. But and then after the break, Forest showing a lot of fight, getting back into it. 2 quick fire goals. But then a great strike by Ahmad right at the end. And you could have nicked it at the end, United. I mean, it was a great game.
Second half was good. First half was very equal. Obviously, the corner was the difference. Second half, we fell asleep for 5 minutes. Silly goals. And then I thought Forest were the better team in the second half. But when you score a goal like Ahmad's, it's out of the blue. And another set piece came from a set piece, both our goals. So, we're set piece FC as well. And then at the end, Ahmad nearly won it, which probably would have been a bit harsh, but would have been great for us. I personally think it's, again, a bit like what Emery did at Anfield and what Bournemouth did at the Etihad. We went and tried to play the same way we did against Brighton and Liverpool, and we hit a lot of long balls. And I just felt what we should have done is at 1-0 is just keep the ball, have a bit of possession, and be a little bit more patient, because Forest had to come on to us and we didn't. And I think it's not about changing the formation. I think that's something that Amrim's been levelled at a lot. But I do think he's got to change the way we play sometimes, because Deitch is a very experienced Premier League manager, and in the second half he had the measure of us, despite us having the better players. So it's not a terrible point, but if we don't beat Spurs next week and we lose, it's a little bit disappointing, because we're in 8th now, and then we might be back into like 9th again. And it was looking good, like you say, up until that draw yesterday. But it's not terrible, 3 wins.
It's
and
not
a draw.
A loss. It's still not a loss. You know what I mean? And you're away from home, and it's still work in progress at United, but it's still, it's not a loss. So it's not the end of the world. Your favourite manager in the Premier League got a great win at home, 3-0 to Brighton against Leeds. And that guy again, Danny Welbeck again, starring it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is Brighton. I mean, I was very happy they came to Old Trafford and lost, but this is the thing about Brighton. He doesn't change the way he plays. And at home, they're very good. But when they play like that away from home, it's too open. But I mean, if I was a Brighton fan, I'd be like, let's go away from home and just play a little bit more sensible, because you'd probably be around 5th or 6th. But the reason you're mid-table is because it's literally 4 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. And that's sort of Brighton. But 2 wins in a row at home, scoring lots of goals, but it's on the road. I just think they're too open.
Crystal Palace 2, Brentford 0. A very good win for Crystal Palace in that game. Brentford have been going well recently. They're not as good on the road, Brentford, but that's a good win for Palace. Fulham 3, Wolves 0. And we found out this morning that Vito Pereira has been sacked as Wolves manager. No wins for Wolves. They only just gave him a new contract a few weeks ago. Now they've sacked him. Fulham inflicting yet another defeat on Wolves. You think they're going to go down? You think it don't matter which manager gets a job?
I mean, they're 8 points from safety, and they're not, I look at Forest and West Ham and I think they're in a false position. But with Wolves, I just don't see the quality there to get out of that. And who they're going to pull in as well, because Sunderland aren't going to get down there. So, all right, Leeds and Burnley, I'd still be worried, but you're not going to pull an Everton or a Fulham or a Newcastle or a West Ham or a Forest. I think Wolves are done. I think they're gone already. Yeah.
Yeah. Massive win for West Ham United. 3-1 win over Newcastle. And they played all right as well. I've got to say, they played well. Paqueta, Potts in midfield. They that was the best performance I've seen from West Ham all season. Newcastle, on the other hand, were a bit lackluster, and they've not been great on the road, Newcastle. They seem to be struggling with, the fact that they've got all these games now. They've got Champions League games, and, maybe their squad should have been a bit bigger for these games. But that was a massive win for West Ham.
I think they've spent badly as well. I mean, you look at the Isak money, and look, I like Jacob Ramsey, but you don't really see much of him. Alanga, good player at Forest, not even in the team. Wizza was out of contract in the summer and probably won't play for them until February. And, and they've spent 40-50 million pounds on him. Newcastle should be up, especially in this league where it's so competitive in the top 10. Newcastle should not be in 13th, but I think they've had a disastrous summer and they had a disastrous start. And now they're struggling to get momentum whilst also dealing with the Champions League. I mean, I'd sort of be a bit worried about Eddie Howe, Robbie. Not quite yet, but, I feel they're in a false position. If they don't start climbing the league soon.
Down in 12th.
Yeah.
13th at the moment on 12 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they really got to get their act together. Taking a look at the league, at the bottom of the table, it is Wolves, rock bottom on 2 points. No wins yet for them in the Premier League. Going to be interesting to see who they do appoint as their new manager. Nottingham Forest on 6 points, and then West Ham. There's a big win for them. Still in the bottom 3, but 7 points, just 3 points behind Burnley. And then you've got Leeds, Everton, Fulham, all on 11 points. Everton, of course, playing Sunderland tonight. And then when we go to the top of the table, Arsenal top on 25 points. That's 6 points clear of Manchester City in second place on 19. Liverpool on third on 18. Bournemouth slip after that defeat. This on 18 points as well in fourth. Spurs down to fifth on 17. Chelsea on 17. Sunderland on 17. Man United on 17 as well. So a lot of teams on 17. Actually, Sunderland, if they win, in their game tonight. They
Second
go
goal.
into second place. Sunderland. Unbelievable. Sunderland versus Everton. Quick prediction for that one.
I went with a draw, and I wish I'd gone with the Sunderland win. I went for a bloody draw in the Man City. I was watching it, and I was looking at our win, lose, or draw, and I was like, "What? I've got to wake up on a Friday morning better." I mean, why am I going for a bloody draw between Man City and Bournemouth? I'm sat there shouting at their bloody defence, going, "Why have I done this?"
What did I go? I went for a draw as well, didn't I?
No, you went with a City win, I think.
I went City win.
Yeah, you've had a good week again this week.
I think I went for a draw. Did I go? No, I went for a United win. I went for a United win. I know that.
You went United win, but you went City win and Sunderland win.
Don't reveal all, because of course Friday is when we find out over on That's Football. But I don't think I got that many right. But let's see how it's gone. Let's get into our team of the week, Mark.
Yeah, good stuff.
In goal, I went for Marmashvili of Liverpool. I thought he pulled off a couple of good saves in that game, especially earlier on.
Yeah, I went Sanchez of Chelsea. I thought he had a good game. I watched both games. To be honest, either or is fine by me. I think Sanchez did do well.
If I'm being honest, you know what? I think Sanchez. I think I agree with you. He did play well. He kept a clean sheet as well. So, all right, Sanchez, we've gone for in goal.
Yeah.
Give me your back four.
So I like the fact that I like your right back. I was struggling a bit. I went Reece James, didn't even bloody play right back. So it was Gusto, wasn't it? So
yeah.
But I did go Gabriel. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, I went Gabriel.
I put Fofana at Chelsea centre back. Thought he had a good game. And then I was struggling a little bit at left back. So I went Sessegnon at Fulham.
That's not a bad shout. I went Cucurella. The Sessegnon is actually a good shout. Are you coming up with some gems today? All right, let's go Sessegnon.
I don't know what's wrong with you, Robbie. You never normally let me get any in. There we go.
No, I like the Sessegnon. He did score as well. Sessegnon. I went Van Hecker of Brighton. They kept a clean sheet. He played well. And I went Gabriel as well. And Szoboszlai of Liverpool.
Yeah, I like that because I wanted to get him in the midfield. So, I'm happy.
He was very good. Midfield, I've gone Rice, Caicedo, and Paqueta at West Ham. I thought Paqueta had a good game. Caicedo was brilliant in that game, and so were Rice. I think them two are two of the best midfielders around right now. Did you have anybody else for that midfield?
I got Rice and Caicedo. I would give a shout out to Gravenberch. I thought he played very well, but I put Elliot Anderson in because I thought he was brilliant against us.
He did play well
on the pitch.
I was also thinking Cherky as well. I thought he
played well.
He was brilliant. But I think because West Ham have been so bad this season, I just wanted to get a West Ham player in there. So you cool with the Paqueta one?
Yeah. As I say, I think Anderson and Gravenberch were both very good, but I'm happy with Paqueta going in there.
Okay, up front.
I got Gomez of Brighton because he got 2 goals.
Yep.
I got Haaland.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought he was brilliant. And I was tossing about. I mean, it's not really technically wouldn't work in a 4-3-3, but I did put Gyökeres in because I was very impressed.
Gyökeres is
and how he played, even though he was only on for 45 minutes. I think so many people have been on his back, and I've always said I like Gyökeres, and when he gets up to speed with the game, and I think that 45 minutes is the first game where I think he's looked sharp. Yeah,
he was brilliant. I've gone Gyökeres, Haaland, and João Pedro of Chelsea, even though, like you said, he should have scored more. But I thought he had a very good performance, took his goal well. That was the deciding goal. So I thought those 3 were the standout forwards for me this week. He could have went Danny Welbeck as well, another goal for him. But I've gone for those 3.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, all right.
We'll stick with those. I've got a couple in that don't normally, so there we go.
He tries to carry on like a bully you out of it or something like that.
It's your show, isn't it?
Anyway, right, that is our team of the week. Let us know if you agree with that in the comments below. And of course, we return on Friday on That's Football. Last game before we go into that international breaks. So last set of games. There's going to be some interesting games next week.
Man City, Liverpool, isn't it?
Man City, Liverpool.
Arsenal versus
Sunderland. Arsenal, Sunderland could be first versus second. Might not even be the biggest game of the weekend. Liverpool versus
you beat Sunderland and then Man City and Liverpool draw. You're laughing, aren't you?
Yeah. But we got beaten first. Sunderland are playing all right. So lots of games to look forward to, and of course, Man United versus Spurs as well. Some great games. So really looking forward to the games coming up this weekend. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to DR Sports and That's Football, We'll be back on Friday over on Mark's channel. Looking forward to it.